Good morning, everybody. I'm extremely excited to be here today with you. As you can probably hear from my accent, I'm originally Dutch and I've come from Europe to work here in Canada, and I'm very proud to call Canada my home. I want today to share some of the learnings I've seen around the world in payments, what we can benefit from here in Canada. We are all subject to change. But it's only if we are all coming together to embrace this change and work together to deliver a perfect outcome for us all. Change is inevitable. Change is unavoidable and often very unpredictable. But what change does is to accelerate innovation. Today I'm going to talk about three things. First, I'm going to talk about what we see around the world in countries similar to Canada happening with innovation. Then I'm going to talk about what we think we can expect from those innovations to happen in Canada. And last but not least, how do we all prepare ourselves for this change to embrace it? We cannot do this alone. We are responsible for the ecosystem together. As you've heard us say many times before, in the last 5 years, payments has changed more than in the last 50 years. And it is mainly thanks to a rapid digitization, increased security needs, and a swift rise of AI. You cannot have a presentation without talking AI, I think, these days. And of course, the evolving customer expectations. We are facing the biggest wave of change yet, and it is mainly driven by AI. The shift from physical cards to wallets, and the shift from traditional payments to e-commerce payments has changed the way our economy looks today. I think many of us can remember still probably that transactions authorized with a card were done through a signature. E-commerce payments didn't exist, and the global networks were fighting for physical acceptance locations and demonstrating that they had 24 million or 22 million and we were better. Nowadays, that is all irrelevant. Each wave of change is driving our requirement to adapt. Changing our technology stack, revisiting our GDPR rules, our data privacy rules, seeing how we improve our fraud solutions. Whether we are talking about physical cards or digital wallets, domestic transactions or cross-border transactions, face-to-face or e-commerce, human or agent, our ambition at Visa has never changed. We are here to focus on being the best way to pay and be paid. And of course, help our customer needs and deliver solutions that resonate with buyers and sellers. Customer expectations will even change faster with Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Those two generations are digitally first, they are brand agnostic, and they expect everything to happen through a mobile device. For them, yesterday's innovation is today's expectation. A great example of how the ecosystem came together to deliver innovation in the hands of the consumer is the combination of EMV and contactless, and especially if you look at transit. 5 to 10 years ago, transit was very normal by paying with cash or cards, buying a ticket at a kiosk, and you went into the TTC. But by us coming together as an ecosystem, we developed an environment where consumers now are very used to paying with their contactless card or their mobile phone to check in their TTC. That has changed dramatically the way consumers not only pay the TTC tickets, but also caused a halo effect for contactless transactions across the globe and the mobile wallet adoption across the world. This is a great example of how we as an ecosystem came together and delivered the innovation to our customers. Yesterday's innovation became today's reality. Throughout our history at Visa, we've always been reliant on you here in the audience to work together to respond to change. Visa has operated in Canada for over 50 years and supplying Canada with one of the most advanced payment networks in the world. In the 70s, Visa started to issue physical plastic cards and opening up acceptance locations across the globe. And in the 90s, Visa was the first global network to enable e-commerce transactions. In 2013, Visa decided to open up its network. What did that mean? Was basically we opened up our network not only to the issuers and the acquirers in the ecosystem, but also to the tech companies, to the processors. Big tech, small tech, crypto, all of those developers were able to adopt our solutions and bring them to market in a much faster space. Soon after, we implemented our multi-rail strategy. Most people know Visa as a card company, and Visa started diversifying the transactions that we support, from cross-border money transfers to domestic remittances. And in 2022, we decided to open up Visa as a service. And we developed services, value-added services, that were not only supporting Visa card transactions any longer. It supported many types of transactions across our network, or not even across our network, across other people's network, from fraud solutions to risk assessments to currency conversions. In the last 25 years, Visa's network has processed 3.3 trillion transactions. Visa has embraced the global changes and adapted them to local realities. And most importantly, we've worked with all of you. We could not deliver any of these changes and these realities without the support of all of you here in the room. So what's next for us in the future? Well, we don't have to look too far. There are many countries around the world where change is already happening, and we just need to pay attention to those markets to see what's next for Canada. This is why I pay very close attention today at two regions across the world. The UK, a country, and the Nordics, consistent of a couple of countries. This is the benefit of Visa. We operate in 200 countries and territories around the world and see what kind of changes are happening and how we can adapt and learn from them. Both regions I'm talking here about, UK and the Nordics, are very similar to Canada. They're very digitally mature. They've got a high penetration of cards and mobile wallets, sophisticated banks and merchants, and the rise of fintech. And their open banking and A2A solutions are either implemented or are at the verge of being launched. But they also have the similar challenges: increasing fraud levels, new payment methods, and of course, an ever more interested payment regulator into the industry that we operate in. Let's start by looking at the UK. The UK launched a while back their A2A solution. And as you heard and read probably, fraud was increasingly increasing. It was significantly increasing, and that was a concern for the industry. And recovering fraudulent A2A transactions is extremely hard. Partly because the tools are not there, partly it's because it's in instant payment, it goes straight away through, and also because there are no rules that define how the players in the ecosystem should behave. So what we did was we used our Visa card solution, our card risk solutions, and applied it to A2A transactions. And we did a big test in the UK. And the results are staggering. 54% additional fraud was detected with the Visa A2A Protect solution over and above the fraud that the incumbent solutions they had in place already detected before. This was an equivalent of a £330 million annual saving by stopping fraud with the Visa solution. Sophisticated fraud solutions become more and more global. It is extremely hard to detect them if you have no global view. That's also why Visa continuously heavily invests in this area. And recently we purchased, as many of you probably know, Featurespace. Can you imagine what this solution, Feature Space, with the combination of our Visa Protect for A2A, could mean for the Canadian market. And we're going to test it soon in the market as well. Let's have a closer look at the Nordics. As many of you know, the Nordics has a very sophisticated market. 90% of the market has a wallet usage and is extremely widely used domestically. Still, despite this massive innovation, they were still looking for ways to improve it. And they talked to Visa about how can we improve the checkout experience of a wallet in the e-commerce space. And they decided to buddy up with us on Click-to-Pay. Click-to-Pay not only helped to reduce the declines, it also reduced the fraud, and it increased dramatically the sales. A 30% uplift in SMB sales volume over the year that they used Click-to-Pay. That's an equivalent of 51 million euros of additional sales volume for the small, medium businesses. That is huge for the engine of commerce of many industries. These are just two examples that we see across the globe that Canada can learn from. If you think that the changes in the last 5 years in payments have gone fast, compare that to the changes in AI. In the last 5 months, the AI ecosystem has changed faster than in the last 5 years. There is no greater example of this as AI-assisted commerce. This is going to fundamentally change the way we shop online. Soon, consumers will enable an AI agent to not only browse, select the right product, but also conduct the purchase for the consumer. I can still remember the early days of internet, where it was great to have all this information on your fingertips. You could browse, you could select, you could search, you could compare. It was great. But now it becomes more and more overwhelming. Sometimes I sit on Sundays on the couch and I'm wondering where the time has gone when I look for a holiday. Spending hours and hours and hours trailing through a lot of data. But with the introduction of AI shopping experience, it becomes much, much easier. Instead of scrolling yourself to piles and piles of data, it will help us to make quicker decisions and come to a better outcome much quicker. Please make sure that you attend later Danny Waki's presentation around Visa Intelligent Commerce, where he goes in much more detail what this could mean for you. AI-assisted commerce is like having your personal shopping agent on your side. It can help you with recommendations and searches for looking for a 3-day weekend away to Prince Edward County. Look for a shopping of an outfit for the TIFF event in September. Or help to plan a party for my 10-year-old with a soccer-themed party. But payments are still not streamlined and secure in this space. AI commerce promises something revolutionary. It takes one step further from the scrolling and selecting and putting it in a basket. It will allow you to pay automatically. It could make dinner reservations for you through OpenTable. It can make a hotel booking by using your membership points. And it can create a wine tasting weekend when you're going away to a country that you have not been before. It will scan the web on your behalf. It will compile a personalized shopping basket. But not only that, it takes it one step further. It will select the best price. It will negotiate on your behalf. And ultimately, with your consent, will make the payment. So it's not sending you to a website after you've done all the work automatically saying, and now you have to do 5 websites to check out. No, it will check out for you on your behalf. Of course, AI commerce comes with its risks. AI-driven agents will be a cause of concern for many of us. Will my data be secure? How do I make sure that he makes the right payment? Is my data being used for something else? But we need to make sure that we retain control on purchases that happen without our consent. And of course, that our data is safe. Today, AI agents have been stuck in beta mode, a bit like the self-driving cars back in those days. They can browse, they can recommend, and even negotiate. But they're not formally wired yet into payments. Simply said, they're not trained to pay or be paid. This leads to a series of questions that you and your customers will have. Can I trust an AI agent with my data? Are my credentials secure? Is my payment data private? And of course, what happens if something goes wrong? I want to share with you an example, and maybe some of you have read about this already. In the Washington Post, there was a journalist who used AI-assisted shopping to conduct a simple experiment. Buy me a carton of eggs and deliver it in 10 minutes to my house. The price was $31. Now, for people in the US, that might be normal. But in Canada, it won't. So basically what happened, the AI agent went rogue. He made decisions on the behalf of the journalist by himself. Yes, he found the cheapest eggs, but to satisfy the 10-minute delivery ambition, he started to make decisions by himself. To have a personal delivery driven to his home, added the shopping bag, and also gave a tip. As you can imagine, this is not a great example. And it shows what can go wrong. What we need to understand is that AI can only be successful by learning and training with data. Access to data will be vital. And of course, it requires trust. Without trust, AI will not be successful. Trust isn't given, trust is earned. It's not about the 98% transactions go well that you earn the trust. It is earned when you deliver a great solution for the 2% that it goes wrong. Because you all know that our tools get better to shop online and AI to help us assist many things, but so do the tools of the fraudsters. They are far more advanced and adapt AI much, much quicker than many of us do. So it will have to question, who's responsible if something goes wrong? Are the solutions that I use, can I trust them? Who's behind all this? And this is where reputation, expertise, and a strong track record is vital. For the past 70 years, Visa has been investing and building an ecosystem that's not only trusted by consumers, but by merchants, issuers, acquirers, processors, and governments alike. So what if something goes wrong in the AI commerce world? The same protections apply when you use a Visa credential as they do today if you use your card for shopping. We were the first network in the world to deploy AI for our risk solutions. And we've invested over $3 billion in our AI solutions and data infrastructure over the last 10 years. In the past year alone, Visa stopped over $40 billion of fraud. That is double the amount we stopped compared to the year before. And put that in very basic terms, we stopped $110 million per day. We are deploying AI in our risk products and building new products and solutions for you to benefit from. Like I mentioned, my colleague Dan will later in a breakout session go in much more detail what this could mean to you. Visa is preparing for tomorrow, today. We started today by talking about speed of change and the evolution of payments, and how AI technology will shape the future of e-commerce. But as stewards of the ecosystem, we're all responsible to make sure that this happens in a secure and right way for our customers. The change cannot be stopped. People and consumers using AI already today. Many of us have already used ChatGPT or any of the solutions to look and search for certain products online. At Visa, we are committed to deliver very simple and secure and scalable solutions that will enable you to be part of this change. Visa is here to help. We are here to help you play a front seat role in these kind of changes. The future of payments is right here, right in this room. Let's work together so we are not left behind, and work together to make Canada a fantastic success where people remain trust in the ecosystem, in payments, because we're all stewards of this ecosystem to make sure it helps the economy grow. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to bring the future of payments to Canada. Thank you very much.